YouTube family, we have a lot to discuss. Roll the theme music. So when I left off, I was outside and I was saying, trying to enjoy myself, having issues with Prime. So on the very last video that I dropped, that was the one where I was going through Little Rock, Arkansas, and basically discussing going through mountains or whatever. That load was really to get me back home for home time. Sorry about that. For home time. So on that load, it was a multi-stop load. So I picked it up. It was a drop and hook. It was a preloaded trailer. Picked it up. And of course, I do my inspection. There's only so much you can inspect on the drop and hook trailer. So I can't inspect the inside, and all I can do is look at the outside and go off what I see. The typical trailers, unless it's exactly brand new, they're gonna have a lot of dents, dings, scratches. The skirt may be loose. There's normal stuff that you report back to Prime. So I'm not gonna go into much detail, but I'm just gonna say that be careful if you work for any company. We all want to go pick up a preloaded trailer versus sitting there waiting, getting loaded. But just be aware, or you have to deal with what I'm dealing with. So I say that to say, so I notated the normal stuff on my driver vehicle inspection report, scratches, dents, or the normal stuff. What I did not know, because the trailer is, when you go pick up a preloaded trailer, the doors are closed and it's usually a seal on it. You're just verifying that you have the right seal. And I verified that the seal was correct, and then you put your enforcer lock on it, and then you do your live loaded. If you're at Prime, you take off. That's what I did. So I arrive at the O2. So I get there and I open up, I take my lock off. They tell me to break the seal. They give me a door. I do that, and I'm trying to open up the door, and I notice, the passenger side, the right door, it's kind of have, some issues with it. I had to kind of, put some extra work into it to open the door up. It felt like it was off. I didn't think nothing of it, because that's happened before. Not with that trailer, but with other trailers. So I opened up the trailer, use a little chain, pin it to the side like you normally would do if you're a truck driver. You open your doors and you back up. I do that. So I back up, sit for about an hour, or no, it was more than an hour, maybe 3 hours. And I get the call that, hey, your truck is unloaded, but we need you to pay the lumper fee. No issue. I get the lumper fee, let Prime know what that fee is. Everything is going smooth. And then once I pay them, they confirm that they received the payment. And they're like, okay, well, you either can come in and get the receipt, or we're gonna email it to you, however you want to do it, and we need you to go ahead and move away from the door. And remember, I said it's a multi-stop load, but you still want to get out and check. So I got out, check, making sure I'm checking my BOLs, make sure they didn't take too much off, normal stuff. It was a normal day. So I do that. I pull up, and it was not I didn't have a truck to the left side on the driver's side of me, but I had a truck on the right side. So I had to pull up because I didn't have enough room to close the door on the right side. So then I close in the driver door, then I go to close in the right door, and I'm like, it's not one to close. And you're gonna see on this picture right now. So as you can see, that top half, that little hook, that's supposed to hook into that That little metal piece supposed to latch on, and that's how your doors are secured when you're going down the road, and you're not worrying about the door flying open and you losing freight, or because I'm carrying, this is a meat load, I'm not contaminating the food. I could not get that door closed. I tried and I tried. So I'm like, okay. I call my fleet manager. Doesn't answer. I send him a message on the Qualcomm. He doesn't respond back. I send him a message through the app. Doesn't respond back. So I'm like, okay. So I call Roadside, and Roadside told me to send a picture, which I did. They told me to try to do something called a figure 8, which if I was in a big enough area, I would have tried it, but this was a very tight area. It was a very, very tight dock. Even in the notes, it says that the parking was tight, and that you may have to get help from other drivers or whatnot. So yeah, so I told him, I said, there's no room to do that. So he was like, okay, well, just keep me posted. And I'm like, keep you posted? I'm telling you, I cannot get the door to secure up top. It'll latch on the bottom half, but not up top. So I was like, okay. So he hung up. Then the fleet manager finally calls, and his first response was, did you pull away from the dock? And I thought that was odd. And then I was like, yeah, I pulled away from the dock. Oh, well, you're not supposed to do that. And I'm like, what do you mean you're not supposed to do that? He said, yeah, anytime you have an issue with a door or something, you're supposed to stay there at the location. But since you pulled away from it and you're a lease driver, this might fall on you. And I'm like, what do you mean it's gonna fall on me? He was like, well, you said you can't get the door closed, so you damaged it. And I'm like, no, I did not damage the door. He said, well, you pulled away from it, this is gonna be on you. It may be a $500 deductible that you have to come out for the cost of the trailer. And I'm like, okay, they unloaded their product. I paid them. They told me I had to leave, but this is their place. I had to leave. I said, that's the only way I can close the doors. I said, there was another truck right next to me. Now, if the truck wasn't next to me, I still have to pull up away from the dock to close the door. Then he's like, oh, okay, well, I'm just letting you know how this goes. I know you're new, but yeah, you should have stayed there. And mind you, I'm literally, if I could make an example, this is the facility I delivered to, and this is the street. I'm on the street. And it was another truck, because they told me I had to leave because they're constantly they're receiving. I'm literally parked right here, but according to Prime and my fleet manager, I left the facility and I'm responsible for the door being damaged, and it doesn't fall on the facility, which I don't think they damaged it because the trailer, the doors were already closed and sealed but before I even picked up the trailer. I believe it was already damaged, and I'm gonna get to that. So I'm basically trying to tell him, like I'm telling you, I don't see how I could be at fault for this, because I literally just opened up the doors and tried to close the doors. I didn't damage it. So we kind of went back and forth, and then he got tired of talking to me basically, and he said, well, I need to call safety and I need to call claims, which I did. I called safety, called claims. He also told me to call Roadside, which I called Roadside before I even called him because I never can get him on the phone, but that's another story for another day. So I called safety, I called claims, told them the same thing what happened. They basically gave me the same spiel that the fleet manager said, that, well, why did you drive across the street? Because the business told me to. They told me to leave. I can't stay on their property if they tell me to leave. Now, I know I'm gonna have some people that probably disagree with me, but I want you to try that. If after you make a delivery, I want you to stay there after they tell you to leave, and if they decide, because it's a private company, if they decide to call the police on you, I want you to see if your company or if Prime is gonna pay for that ticket. So, for trespassing, because they ask you to leave and you don't leave, you're trespassing. So I went across the street and I stayed there until we come up. I really couldn't leave because I couldn't get the damn door closed. So long story short, I wind up saying the same story about 5 different times in the same language because I only speak English, and I don't know what else they wanted me to do or what they wanted me to say. I wasn't admitting to anything because I didn't do anything. All I did was open up the doors and I backed into the dock like I always do. And then I tried to close the doors after I delivered the product like I always do. In this particular time, the latch wouldn't secure, and you probably can't see it. I'm gonna put another picture up. It's a hinge that was off too as well that I didn't know. I'm just so busy focused on that little latch because I know that's supposed to be closed because that seals in the weather stripping in the door. I didn't even notice that the latch was damaged. So I sit here for about 2 hours, not driving, but I am on duty. So then someone had the sense to tell my fleet manager that, hey, let's go ahead and because it's just the top half that's not open, the bottom half is, it's the top half that's open, the bottom half is sealed. Let's find a near trailer repair place to take the trailer to. So we did that, and even on the notes, I probably can't show you the receipt because I don't know what I'm gonna do if I'm going to, I don't know if I'm gonna take legal action, I don't know. Because what they wound up doing was charging me for this. They charged me a service failure, and they charged me the price of the door. They charged me $500 for deductible on that trailer, where that trailer was already broke before I got it. And it was no way for me to tell because had I opened up the seal, then that's another no-no, and that's another issue. But the mechanic put on the notes that the door was open and the door was forced closed. And they tried fixing it. They could not fix it out there. And the only way for them to fix it, they would have to remove all the product off of the truck. And they didn't want to be responsible for it if it, went bad. So they said I would have to continue on like this, or they could force it closed, like what pretty much, because I picked the load up, well, I can't say where I picked it up. I picked the load up at a particular place, and he said they probably used their forklift to force that door closed, and then you can, close it with the 2 handles with the handles. And he said no matter who would have got this trailer, it was just, unfortunately, it was me. Once you open it, now it's back another issue again. The bracket had to be replaced. It was 2 brackets had to be replaced, and the door had to be re-leveled. But I don't feel like I was responsible for that. Unless, you're gonna start letting drivers break seals, or tell the 01 to allow us to break the seal so we can see, open and close the doors and make sure they're functioning right, put a temporary seal on it that we can break it. And then once we head to the security guard shack or give us another permanent seal, that's probably what they should start doing. But to charge me with a service failure and to charge me $500, that ain't cool. And that's not cool at all. And yeah, that's why the Prime Driver versus Prime Inc. That's the title of this video, because that's not right. So yeah, that's where I stand right now. I'm not feeling Prime. A lot of the stuff that goes on here, I don't agree with. I believe they try to, a lease driver is not an owner operator. I'm just being honest to you. But they want to treat us like we owner operators, but then try to put us in our place like, no, you company. So I'm gonna explain. So an owner operator would have to pay for their trailer because, well, I take that back. That's only if that's their trailer. So technically that trailer is not my trailer. If that's the case, I should be pulling the same trailer every time. And then if there's an issue with the door, that means I dropped the ball and I didn't do a right, proper pre-trip, post-trip inspection, then yeah, I should have to pay for it. But I get thrown on all kind of different trailers like other ones. So that's when I say they want to treat you like your own operator and force you to pay for some unnecessary stuff. But then if you have questions or whatever, you question them, then they put you in your place like, oh no, you're a company driver. You're just renting the truck, basically. And I knew that, but I didn't know that they operated like that. I didn't know I would have to be paying for a trailer. I was in the contract, and it was well explained to me, if anything goes on with the truck that I'm paying for weekly, that I would be responsible. It was never explained to me that I would be responsible for the trailer. I was told that I would put fuel in the trailer and I would be reimbursed, and that's it. Or if there's any type of issues with it, I would be reimbursed. If I had to purchase, lights or something like that, I would be reimbursed. But I never thought that I would have to pay for maintenance, because the problem is Prime they don't have that many terminals. So you got all these trailers just out here just sitting around, and you don't really, some drivers are willing to do the right thing, write stuff up, so the next driver like myself won't have to deal with it, and then others are not, and they know, okay, Prime ain't got no trailers, no terminals, so it's the likelihood of someone fixing that trailer is slim until it happens to you or it happened to me. But I don't agree with it. I'm not happy with it, and I'm really having second thoughts about my decision to be here, because this is the first time it's happened with a trailer, but I had another incident happen, and I don't agree with that either. I've been charged with 2 service failures. This one because the trailer that was no fault of mine, and the second one I was charged with, we are a reefer company, but sometimes Prime tries to get slick and they run us like drive-in, and I don't care if I'm spilling the tea on them. So you're asking, what does that mean? So basically, if you don't run the reefer, it's a drive-in. You're not running any of the fuel. You don't have the cold air with it, so you just run it. You don't turn the reefer unit on. So I picked up a load. I don't know if I can discuss. I'm just gonna say it's a soda company, and I'll show you the pictures. And the BOL said, of course, to run it dry. But when I looked at the BOLs and I saw what it was, I thought maybe I don't have to run it in the negative, but maybe I should run this. I should have the reefer unit on so it won't go bad, because it is extremely hot now. We're under a heat wave. So when you do your live loaded calls here at Prime, you go over that with the live loaded person, and I suggested to them, but they figured, oh, you're just a stupid driver, you don't know nothing. We discussed this is what we're gonna do. So I was like, hey, this is some cert for the drinking machines, and it's saying for me not to have the unit on. Is that okay? I think we probably should have this on so this stuff won't go bad, because it is hot. She said, no, it was already pre-planned and discussed with sales. So you just run it off like the BOL says and what sales discussed with them. I was like, oh, okay. So I get to the delivery point. I think I could say the delivery point. The delivery point was McLean. I get there. No, I can't say it wasn't McLean. It was another company. So I get to the 90, and we open up the doors, and half of the product is okay, and the other half, because the heat is just, it's bad. You're gonna see on these pictures. It oozed out because it got hot. And now I'm looking at all these pallets of stuff, and they're like, we're not taking that stuff. It's damaged, it's contaminated. And unbeknownst to me, this has to be handled differently. I can't just take it to the Blue Beacon or take it somewhere and just, toss it. I had to call a environmentalist person. They gave me the number, and they tried calling them, and they finally answered for me. And I didn't record that part, but you'll see. So on this picture of this truck, it was me and another guy, because whoever usually works with him, they I guess called in sick or something, so he was by himself. And he asked me if I could help him. I told him, yeah, I don't mind. It's a good workout. So we throwing these heavy things of soda water, syrup in the back of his truck so he can go take them to wherever he takes them. I take pictures, call claims, call safety, my fleet manager knows, the whole nine. Then they tell me that this is gonna be a service failure on me. I said, how and why? And basically they said, well, we probably should have had the unit on. Same look I had on my face. So that let me know that a couple things. They don't listen and the phone lines are not recorded. At least I don't think that conversation was recorded, because I said, yeah, even though I don't see a temperature on the BOLs, I think it should be on. And I said that clear as day, and I was told basically to shut up and drive. I just said basically. She didn't tell me to shut up and drive. She just said, no, this was already discussed with sales and we don't want the reefer unit on. So I have 2 service failures. So yeah, I don't know you guys, but I am still enjoying my time off away from the place. Peace.